What's going on, guys? Welcome to Stocks with Stammer. I'm your host, Zach, aka Stammer, and I'm here to give you a recap on what happened last week, what my take is, and give you the move for this week. So starting off with how the major North American indices performed last week, the Dow Jones was down 0.34%, the S&P was down 0.32%, the Nasdaq was down nearly 1%, and the Toronto Stock Exchange TSX index was up 0.49%. So the only index out of the four that finished the week positive. Some of the sectors that were on my radar last week were, I gave you two, Bitcoin and the crypto stocks such as Bitfarms, Hut 8 Mining, Riot, Marathon, Galaxy, and the cannabis sector, most notably Canopy Growth, Hexo, and Tilray. So we'll start off with Bitcoin. The Bitcoin stocks, like I mentioned, the Marathons of the world, the Galaxies, the Riots, the Bitfarms, they had a fantastic week. Monday, I think on last episode I had said that for Monday, expect, a 5-10% move to the upside. Well, it was closer to the 30% in some cases, a 30% move to the upside. So I was a bit speechless, I'm not gonna lie.
Defeat after a fabulous start. The game just got away from you there.
I have nothing to say.
So it was a pretty good week for crypto in general. We're seeing a bit of a pullback today on Sunday, and so that's fine. I believe Bitcoin finished. It had an eight or nine, may even be 10-day streak where we had between 8 to 10 consecutive green days for Bitcoin. So that's just shifting gears to the cannabis sector. Last episode I had mentioned that Wednesday, Tilray were going to report their quarterly earnings. And although there was a bit of uncertainty, I had mentioned that most of the weed stocks were very oversold, meaning the RSI was low. And that I think it was a bit of a perfect storm, because the weed stocks, it's pure speculation in most cases. And although that's kind of the name of the game for the weed stocks, they were so cheap. And I said that it was a bit of a bold choice to pick that for my pick last week. Anyways, all that to say that Wednesday, before market open, I believe, Tilray released pretty good earnings, and its stock went up, I believe, 25% on Wednesday morning. And so the other weed stocks did, they kind of followed the trend and did fairly well. So I was able to do, if you checked my story last week, I made a quick, I believe 5 or 6% profit on Hexo, the cannabis producer from Gatineau. In terms of economic events this week, it's going to be a pretty quiet week, in my opinion. Monday through Wednesday, we're going to receive PMI numbers from the UK, Germany, and the United States. Thursday, we have the initial jobless claims from the US. And lastly, on Friday, we have the unemployment change numbers from the US as well. And so shifting gears to companies reporting earnings this week. This week, similar to the economic events, a bit quiet compared to last week, because last week it was just a monster week. We had a couple of the FANG stocks and big tech companies report earnings. Nonetheless, we got Take-Two Interactive, Lyft, Alibaba, Uber, DraftKings, Canopy Growth, Electronic Arts, General Motors, Moderna, CVS. So pretty good week in terms of earnings. And so here's my outlook for this week. I think if you're a trader, you're going to use some of these earnings from these companies as a trading opportunity. One name that comes to mind is Alibaba. The stock has been completely destroyed because of fears coming out of China and whatnot. And so, I mean, I expect a pretty solid earnings report from Alibaba, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a decent move to the upside for the stock after it releases its earnings. I also still like Bitcoin. The weird thing about Bitcoin and the more mainstream cryptos, my thesis on this is, as the Delta variant, which is spreading quite rapidly around the world, once again, I think the chances of lockdowns, mainly in the United States, the chance of that happening just keeps increasing, and that leads to more stimulus, and that finally leads to a rise in the Bitcoin price, in my opinion, similar to what we saw during the pandemic from the spring and onwards. And so it comes down to Alibaba, more of a trading opportunity, and Bitcoin. And so here's the bottom line. There are a lot of risks out there right now, most notably Delta and the geopolitical tension that we have, or that the United States has with China and the whole China crackdown. It's getting pretty scary. My message is similar to what I've been saying for the last couple of episodes, is to just be cautious and remain invested. And once you see a buying opportunity, whether it's for the short term, the long term, it's to really jump and just, trust your gut. That's all for this episode, folks. If you enjoyed it, like, subscribe, share, comment, do all that good stuff. And we'll see you next week on Stocks with Stammer. Have a good week.